Karna's just in a good spot. Just is. Oh, this is a good spot. All right. Oh, man, if the patrol zone spawned on top of me right this second. Oh, Lord. That'd be it. That'd just be the run right here, right now. Like, come on. This is gonna be it. I hope. With just a little bit of luck. What's gonna happen is this patrol zone's gonna pop up as soon as I get to the sanctuary. That's what's gonna happen. Oh yeah, it's different, and the thing is, it's not that much different. Like, it still mops the things it's supposed to mop, and it has a hard time against the things it's supposed to have a hard time against. I didn't play Carno nearly as much as I played Serato, and people would always tell me that Carno was real good at killing Serato in the 1v1 back then. And in my experience on the other side of it, it really wasn't. I dominated those things. I think people had this idea in their head of how strong they thought Carno would be because they played the game longer than I have, and they remembered a time when Carno had a more dominant reign on the ecosystem. When it was like just Carno and Omni. And they think, oh man, Carno just dominates because it's the biggest, baddest thing there is. But it just hadn't been for a long time. It really hadn't. I mean, sure, bad Seratos to get mopped. Every time I played Carno, the Seratos I'd run into, I would pretty effectively roll them over. But I think that's not really a measure of the Carno's inherent abilities versus Serato's inherent abilities. I think it's just because a lot of players have skill issues. But, shocker, I know. The guy who said people have skill issues once again thinks that people have skill issues. I'm sure that surprised nobody, but it's kind of true though. New Carno's just way more upfront about it. I heard something near me. See, in my experience, Carno couldn't face tank Sarah. Just bite for bite, Sarah would win in the damage. And it'd get a puke off in there unless it just had no bacteria built up. Carno couldn't win those face tanks. On a body especially, it really couldn't win those. And if it was trying to go for the charges, if that one got a lot harder, that was the way you would win as Carno. You'd go for charges. But if the Serato landed a charge bite for every time the Carno got a ram, the Sarah would still win. It'd do more damage. It would end up winning that. And if it got a puke at any one of those times, if the Carno ever threw up, it wouldn't even be close. I got in that fight so many times, I really never lost those. And so it always baffled me when people would say that Carno just dominated Sarah, when the only times I ever got dominated was when there was a significant growth difference or if I got outnumbered, which is fair. If I'm outnumbered or if it's a lot bigger than me, it should absolutely body me. Yeah, that was the other thing, is that Serato's I would fight would not do a very good job at dodging. They would try to dodge. They'd like run sideways. They would attempt to dodge, but they wouldn't really turn their bodies to dodge that way. They wouldn't use the agility to dodge. And I would, because Serato turns fast as shit. It dodges the hell out of things. Even right now it can dodge things. It hasn't had any nerfs to its agility. Serato is good at dodging things, including Carno's rams. So you could negate a lot of incoming damage by turning them into tail hits or avoiding them entirely. It was crazy. To me, that people thought that Sarah didn't have that one. Because to me it felt like Sarah had it pretty well in the bag. The only times I lost those was when I got outnumbered or there was a growth diff. If a full-grown Carno was charging me as a, 80% Serato, yeah, I'd die. Even if I played it right, the health and damage difference would just be too great. I'd die. Unless I had a body. If they tried that on bodies, I'd turn that around and it'd be pretty funny. Carnos would get pretty flustered when subadult Ceratos would kill them on bodies, that's for sure. See, I'm kind of trying to remember. So I started playing Vrima when Gateway came out, and I was also kind of having the learning curve of the game. I was getting the new player experience at about the same time, so I definitely was dying to Carnos more often then. But once I kind of got the hang of the game, and I was getting the Ceratos to full grown more often, it really wasn't an issue. Well, okay, no, they were actually a massive issue, because you know what happened? You never found one Carno. You never found one Carno. I would say 80+% of the times I encountered a Carno, there was at least one other Carno with it, and that 2v1 was intensely difficult. There were a couple I turned around, I can think of, but most often I would die like a dog and get to select a new skin. And that's just how it was. Oh man, I really don't have a patrol zone, huh? Oh, that's so brutal. This was such a good run, too. That's so brutal. This game is bullying me. This was a record pace run. And it's gone now. How cruel. Well, okay, I won't say it's gone. A patrol zone can spawn in the next moment here. Should be sure convenient if it did. I would greatly appreciate it if ye old patrol zone would spawn. I don't really like patrol zones from a design standpoint, but they suit my interests quite well for this speedrun challenge. I think the Allosaurus is going to be fun in a different kind of way. I think it's going to have a very generic experience, and it's probably going to feel generic in that way, but I think that's going to be a good thing. It's kind of the generic theropod, isn't it? Like, it's a very default dinosaur, and it's going to finally hit that. It's going to be very middle of the road in size for the roster. It's going to be very middle of the road in mechanics. It's going to have like a pounce. It's going to be like a big Omni that can't jump. Oh, beautiful. This is what I wanted to see. That was awkward. Anyways, I think Allosaurus will be fun. I think it would be a little better if it came before Rex and Trike for balance of the game. But any addition's a good addition, I think, in the long run. I think there'll be growing pains with any new thing that gets added. When Allosaurus comes out and everyone's picking Allosaurus, people are going to get sick of it kind of quick. But that's just how the game kind of goes, isn't it? Yeah, I think the patrol zones are just really rough. I like the idea of migration zones, but the implementation, I feel, it's funny. It's one of those things where I feel like when they first added migration zones, it was better than they are right now. I feel like migration zones are one of those things where they've gotten worse over time, and I don't quite know why. You'd think it would not be that way. Wow, am I really not going to get any lines, huh? I'm going to lose my world record pace, aren't I? Oh, let's see. My world record pace. There's floating things here. I need them on the ground. I don't trust them in the air. So I jump up to try and grab them out of the tree, and I get caught, then it's gonna be mighty awkward. Can I like, come on, buddy, really? Like, none of you are on the ground? None? Zero nuts in reach? Come on, like, look at that. It's right above my head. Like, you can't just... Ugh. And I can't eat the branches. Alright, whatever. I think Carno is a different kind of small game hunter. I think a lot of things are going to be small game hunters. I think Carno is supposed to be the small game hunter, and I think it does a good job at that right now. Omni is good at hunting things smaller than it, but kind of truthfully, Omni itself is small game. And so things around Omni size and a little bigger are still small game that Omni doesn't just mop so easily. Holy shit. Wow, I just totally lost track of time right there. I just hit 100%. I missed that probably by like 2 seconds. That was like a 10:32 probably when I look at it later. Holy hell. Wow. I did get the world record pace right there. God damn. And I was saying earlier that the lowest time that anyone told me they got was 10:36 or 10:37, something like that. And even with my delayed reaction right there, I got 10:34. Frame by frame, I'm probably looking at like a 10:32. It would be my guess. That's fantastic. Wow. Hell yeah.